Morning. Hi, how you doing? First of all, team news. Cuyper was missing the other day with illness. Has he recovered? Is he in contention?
Yes, he will be back, and I think in general we survived now this phase with a lot of players who were sick and ill, and I hope now that we get more in a stable phase. But overall, it seems to be quite good regarding the availability.
And so no new knocks since the Bournemouth game?
Nothing new.
Just looking back on that game, dramatic last-minute equaliser. A young player has got a lot of praise. How's he been this week since then, getting a lot of attention?
Yeah, we all know, and I think that's important to understand, that he has big potential, and we all know that he can really change the game for us. But there are also other things that are really important for us as a club. It's like sticking to our culture, sticking to our values, and he's still a young player. He's still in a phase where he needs to develop, and therefore really try to help him. But overall, we are pleased to have like a good backup for Danny Welbeck. So we have two great goal scorers and two good strikers in our team. That's definitely helpful.
He's had most of his appearances off the bench. Is he pushing for a start, or are you keeping his feet on the ground and maybe limiting his minutes in that?
He's definitely pushing by performance, so that's for sure. But in the end, we still have a Danny Welbeck there as well, and therefore it's always a tough decision. But definitely, like I just mentioned, it's helpful to have a good backup like him for Danny Welbeck in the squad.
Just in terms of the form, that draw the other night, it's one win in 9. I saw some comments from yourself talking about the fine margins, and I very often do the press conferences with Marco Silva at Fulham, where we talk about fine margins a lot. He says that, how do you nudge those fine margins in your favour to turn those draws into wins?
Do your job. I think that's the main bit. And when we look back against Bournemouth, how we conceded the goal was after our set piece, so we could defend it easily, and that's what I mean with doing the small margins right, because the league, and it's again a repetition, it's so competitive, it's so tight at the moment, and therefore the small margins, they make the difference. What I mean with small margins is like defending a set piece, know your role when we attack with a set piece, know your role in a throw-in, and I think it's just knowing your job and doing your job, and these smaller things will make the difference in each game. And I think also regarding tomorrow, this will make the difference against Fulham. So therefore, we have to be on our highest level regarding doing our job for 90 minutes.
Is that something you can influence as a coach? Because you can say it on the training pitch. So, but in those instances, as the free kicks coming in, you talk about players knowing their roles. Is that something that the players really have to take that personal responsibility for?
So in the end, it's always the responsibility from me, from the coaches, because we have to make sure that our messages are clear enough for the players, not too complicated, and therefore it's our responsibility. But for sure, we need players on the pitch who guide themselves, who help themselves, who take like ownership, who take responsibility. But therefore, I'm quite pleased with my group and with the characters I have on the pitch.
One issue that came up the other day, you talked about time wasting. You were particularly annoyed by that. Is that something you talk to your players about as well? Would you like to do you say to them, I don't want to see you time wasting at all over goal kicks and throw-ins and so on?
I think in certain moments, definitely it's about game management. But I think when there are clear rules in football, the football game getting much more attractive. So I remember back when I was a young player and we played like indoor competitions, there was always a clock, and the clock started 12 minutes. And when the ball was out, the clock stopped. So we always had the same time of minutes you were on the pitch and the minutes the ball was in the pitch. And I think that makes the sport much more attractive. And therefore I think rules will definitely help, because otherwise there's a lot of gray zones, how you can waste time, how you can win games. And in the end, it's about this ball, it's about playing football, it's about, I always say, developing players. And of course we all want to win games, and there are still like a lot of options to waste time, but in general I think clear rules will make it much more attractive, definitely.
If we look ahead to Fulham, I don't know how closely you look at things like recent history and so on, but in the Premier League era, Brighton haven't actually won at Craven Cottage. Is that something that would be in your thinking going into that game? Do you look back at history and that sort of?
No. So I always try to emphasize that I'm not a big fan from statistics or history. We see it more as an opportunity to go there and try to make history for our fans, for our supporters. And I think that's our responsibility, and that's what we try to do tomorrow.
And two evenly matched teams, just a point between the two of yourselves and Fulham in the Premier League. You drew with them, of course, earlier in the season. Do you see much evolution in the Fulham side? Do you see any difference now compared to the team that you played at the beginning of the season?
I think Fulham is always a tough opponent because they're very mature. They know how to win games. They have clear patterns in possession. They are very compact out of possession. So I think Silva's doing a brilliant job there, and that's why we know that it's a big challenge, but we try to go there and try to win this game.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
Fabian, with only just having the long-term... With only having the long-term injuries at the moment, is this potentially your best squad that you've ever had since you've been here? In terms of the strength, I'm thinking not just of the starting 11, but when you look at that bench as well, that you've got them all available.
Unfortunately, they're not all available, so Mats Vifa is still out, and he's still a big player. And then, of course, we have the players in the squad, but in the moment, some players are not able to start the game, so they have to be like quite limited regarding their game minutes. So regarding the whole squad, I think the availability is quite good. Regarding the individual players, there are still some players who have to be modified, so they can't be on the highest level. If we get them on the highest level, then I'm quite confident that we have a really strong squad. But therefore, we have to keep working on these kind of things and have to make sure that also the individual players can play on the highest level. And that's something what we're missing, although the availability looks quite well.
Is Yankuba Minte one of those players? He came on and made a real impact. Everyone knows, I think he's made more sprints this season than any other player. But obviously, where can he improve and what can he do? Is he somebody you've got to manage?
Yeah, that's for example one player we need to manage. So we don't know if he's able to start or not start. He came back after a small issue, so it's definitely someone we need to manage at the moment, and therefore that's a good example. What I meant with the individual players are not on the highest level, and that's what we have to work on, and we have to get them back on track.
One player who's starting regularly is Jan-Paul van Hecke. He's turning into a bit of an attacking weapon for you as well as a defensive rock as well. More, I think, goal contributions than any other defender. I mean, is that something you want to increase in his ability to help you going forward?
So we all know that he's a top defender, and he helps us to build up the game like we want to build up the game, because he's very effective in breaking lines. And of course, what he has is a desire to win games, a great mentality to be a winner on the pitch, and therefore he tries everything. And in certain moments, of course, he's a very offensive thinking player, and he's trying to attack the box. He's trying to help us, and in certain moments it's quite helpful for us. In the end, it's about having good balance between like doing your job in the rest defense and organizing the defense, and then in certain moments, of course, to have like also the freedom to attack the opponent's box.
10 days left of the transfer window. I know you won't speak about specific players, but what are you expecting from the sort of... You mentioned a few weeks ago there might be a bit of a late flurry of activity or potential opportunities. How do you feel about it now?
Yeah, I think still open the window, so still everything is possible. But what I always try to emphasize is that I'm happy with the squad, and we are there in a daily exchange with Tony, and therefore if we think we need to do something regarding giving players away, giving players more game time, or getting players into the squad, then I'm sure that we will make the right decisions. But at the moment we're happy.
Is it more likely going out than coming in? Obviously, Diego Coppola's been linked to a few clubs this week.
I think it's a 50-50 situation. Of course, like Cops might be one player, but we really enjoy working with him here. We see a great development. Of course, there's there's a World Cup upcoming, but I'm quite sure that he will be in the future a big player for us. But that's what I meant. We have to analyze the individual situation from each player, what is best for the club, what is best for the individual development from the player, and then we have to make the right decision.
In terms of Fulham, what's going to be the key in terms of your players' performance to overcome a side like Fulham, as it were, and the threats that they have?
I think we spoke about this, like doing the small margins right, do your job, no matter if it's set piece, a throw in, a corner. I think it's very important against them to be alive 90 minutes because they're quite effective in using their chances. They have a very mature team, mature players on the pitch, so they can punish your mistakes easily, and I think that's something we have to be aware of. And then second of all, I think they are defending quite well, quite in a compact block, and we have to be patient. We have to don't force it. We have to wait for the right moment to overcome these things, the low block, and I think being patient and being mature will be the key things.
You're looking forward to being on the touchline at Craven Cottage?
Yeah, it's the first time, so let's see how the experience will be. I'm definitely looking forward. Yeah.
You were up in the stand. It was a different experience up there, wasn't it? I guess. Did you take something from it? It's an opportunity to see a game, maybe from a different level.
Was not a great experience, especially like the way from the locker room to where I had to sit was a long way through a lot of supporters from Fulham. So it was not a way I really enjoyed, but I definitely learned something. Yeah.